thank you for the opportunity to speak today. I'll start by saying that I'm very proud to be part of an inclusive environment at QUT where people feel respected and able to participate fully. Thank you. And while today is about celebrating success, it is also important to acknowledge the challenges that remain if we want our people to feel brave and well-equipped to tackle big problems. Empowering ambition requires appropriate support. True to QUT's value of inclusiveness, we must keep working toward equity, recognizing that people start from different places and may need different support to succeed. To do this well, we must understand our barriers to better break them. At last month's QUT Symposium for Gender Equity, Diversity and Inclusion, we heard that while there is parity between men and women at levels A and B in the Faculty of Science, for example, only 1 in 3 professors is female. This partly reflects the difficulty of retaining women in STEM after becoming mothers, a major challenge in Australia and in the world. But we must be careful in how we interpret and respond to these numbers. We do not want people to feel unfairly advantaged or disadvantaged or to create new segregation, something I've increasingly witnessed over the past decade. Many young men today shoulder more responsibilities at home than ever before. When they look at themselves and their sisters, they feel they were raised with seemingly equal opportunities. So some of them don't fully understand why, for example, women-only positions exist. At the same time, many women are tired of being accused of receiving special treatment when they have worked incredibly hard to get where they are. This creates a new tension that we are responsible for managing before it gets out of hand. Comments like, "I was better, but I didn't get that lecturer position because I was not a woman," should not be tolerated. It is our responsibility to educate our young men and our young women about the historical and current challenges that shape our rapidly changing society. As noted at the symposium by Christopher, one problem is that childcare remains prohibitively expensive, and parental leave is still not equal. Many young fathers cannot access the same leave opportunities, reinforcing the very imbalances we are trying to fix. Yet, as Queensland's chief scientist and QUT Professor Kerry Wilson reminded us recently at the Women in STEM Award, science is not a boys' game, it's not a girls' game, it is everyone's game. And while this seems obvious, we are still not working harmoniously to reach this goal. So I'm not dismissing gender-based hurdles, but I'm suggesting we broaden our focus and work together to address disparities that affect us all so that every person has what they need to succeed. One critical area for achieving equity is how we handle career disruptions in promotions and research funding. The NHMRC, ARC, and MRFF invite applicants to outline personal circumstances affecting their track record in application. This has been a positive change, but the policy design still raises concerns. The issues became clear in 2021 when Professor Justin Yerbury from the University of Wollongong, a motor neuron disease researcher who later died of the disease, legally challenged the NHMRC's relative to opportunity policy. His advocacy led to policy change so disability could be taken into consideration when assessing track record. But career disruption is still difficult to assess and highly subjective. Imagine you're a young dad. One of your newborn twins has a complex disease and now you need to spend 5 months in hospital while your wife cares full-time for the other twin. How much would you expect him to claim? 5 months, right? Easy to verify. Now imagine you have lupus, an autoimmune condition that randomly interrupts your work. How much time would you give that? 0.1, 0.2 FTE disruption overall? It's becoming harder to say, isn't it? Then consider a different situation. You are a superstar young professor who comes home to find your dog slaughtered and your ex-spouse in the kitchen despite a law enforcement order. They tell you you'll be next, so you have to move yourself and your 2 kids to a safe house, then go to a new institution in a new state to keep your life and amazing research going on. The move takes 4 months and you're still dealing with PTSD that continues to disrupt your work. How much time should you be able to claim then? And do you really feel comfortable to disclose this in your next application and to your new employer? I know this is uncomfortable, but these are real stories that affect researchers. First, applicants must disclose their circumstances to the lovely Katie York at QUT and her wonderful research grants team, who, though supportive, are not trained to assess these situations and are conflicted because their own KPIs depend on research income. Like all grant officers all over Australian universities, they struggle with unclear to no guidelines. What's a dependent child? Apparently up to 21 years of age, although you'll agree they won't have the same needs as a 4-year-old. What's a primary carer anyway in today's society? How do you verify it? From what I have learned, upon legitimacy check, our officers mostly endorse what applicants suggest. And for fellowship time exemptions, you will need to provide certificates, and this information is audited by NHMRC for your information. Where it goes and who sees it is not disclosed. Then, in your application, you are asked to provide more details about the disruption and its impact, so reviewers can fairly assess your track record. But most reviewers are not socio-medically trained. Some of us are statisticians or geologists. What do we really know about lupus, domestic violence, or the long-term impact of trauma if you're not trained or have not experienced it ourselves? We scanned 50 randomly selected ARC College of Experts members, and none held a medical degree. Yet, these people routinely assess disruption claims involving complex social-medical circumstances. A bike accident with multiple bones broken and a stillborn baby may both result in 3 months of work, but the impacts are vastly different. On top of that, the funding bodies provide no clear guidelines on how to adjust the scores for the reviewers. So no privacy, no training, no guidelines. How fair is that? So what do you do as an applicant? Studies suggest that if you are a woman, you are more likely to quit research altogether because it doesn't feel worth trying. It's all too murky. It takes a level of courage you don't have right now. If you are a man, you are more likely to apply, but not disclose the disruption because some men don't feel able to talk about caring for children or parents, and then your productivity is judged without context. In a 2021 survey led by QUT Professor Adrian Barnett, 13% of Australian researchers reported having the disruptions they chose not to disclose for fear it would harm their chances of success or make them look weak. The result is simple: we are losing talent. And while it is easy to describe the problems, let me propose a solution. Career circumstances claims should be reviewed by an independent social medical impact panel, not by our lovely research officers and not by peer reviewers. This panel will include doctors and social medical experts who assess career disruptions confidentially and consistently across all applications, providing standardized impact scores. Given that research funding can involve millions of dollars, an NHMRC Level 3 investigator grant, for example, is worth $3 million. The need for qualified private assessment is clear. Our current processes often act as obstacle courses, particularly for women, carers, and people with disabilities. Adding fairer structure is just one path to genuine equity. I'll close by saying that no system for judging complex life disruptions will ever be perfect. But the one we have now risks excluding excellent researchers whose lives were simply disrupted by events beyond their control. Back to today's focus, please continue to enjoy the celebrations of a productive and successful year at QUT, but also share your ideas and talk about those issues. We can and should do better. Let's do it together. Thank you.